Progress.
Maybe discuss this for a second, can we?
And you're set up.
I think we need to discuss the visa duties that have been put to you for approval. Good, you want to see? Well, it does show that. I guess when would we discuss this?
Nope, you're good. It's when you turn it off again, you can move it down to help with the other. Yeah, you're on.
Do you want to decide when, and I can come back in and talk
Okay.
with you about it?
Okay.
So just,
Yeah.
I'm around. Call me.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, well, give that a minute.
Yeah.
Like when it says one person is waiting, does that mean I don't get their touching it?
Nope, I'll wait a minute. Yeah.
Last week,
Getting in.
I couldn't get on, I had to use the Zoom phone number, but I think it was my internet connection more than anything.
Do you think it's because I'm on as you?
No, because I went on and signed in with my, BC branch at hotmail.com. So one thing, if two people are talking at the same time, it really
Want to talk about this?
Yeah.
confuses things. I just can't.
We can, because they were submitted today, I guess when we.
It didn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go into the board of minutes for April 26th, 2020.
I move we approve the board minutes for April 26, 2022.
I concur, except for the road thing, it said the road was bad around the parade. I think it should have been.
Oh,
No Brian's around.
Spelling error, sorry.
I will fix that.
Any public comment on it?
Oh,
Okay.
Elena says they can't hear.
No, you're unmuted.
Is it the device or is it?
I think, let's see.
Can you hear us now?
Elena, raise your hand if you can hear us now. I hear.
This and then re-plug it in.
I can see if Clydell will get on and then maybe it's Elena's.
Anybody else?
You guys can hear us, will somebody raise their hand? Blaine, are you good at that?
Maybe, what I'd say is maybe get out of Zoom on there and get back in. Might just be glitching. But Claudette will get on too, see if she can.
Okay, I think we're good.
Okay. And then do I push got it?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on. We're into correspondence. We have technical difficulties. The first one's a Flint Creek Dam Advisory Committee, May 3rd, at the Granite County Courthouse courtroom. Agenda, 6 p.m. Granite County Courthouse at 6 p.m.
You gonna go?
The next one.
Can we discuss this? Well, I mean, this is
I
tonight.
didn't hear it. Sorry. Yeah, but we're discussing.
So we're wondering who's gonna be going tonight. One of the commissioners should go or not.
I didn't. No,
Okay, you're not going.
no, I can't. I get,
Do we need to go?
Well,
we never have. I mean, we can.
I'm always here because I.
she opens the door.
Yeah,
Billy
I
opened
opened it up
the door for me, and I came last time,
Bring back comments.
and,
It's advisor committee?
the advisory committee.
Yeah.
And what's on the agenda is just the things that they visit about every meeting. It's not anything where a commission would make a decision.
Not unless they brought something into us, that's like, well, last time. they
I
did
went
something,
last
they
time.
had advised, yeah, you brought back.
So we're gonna discuss this more during the damn thing.
Yes,
Well, about the
Well,
water and that.
It has to do with that.
okay, well, this is correspondence, so I'm just curious. Okay,
Next one is, new business, next meeting date for Phillipsburg Senior Community Center, Wednesday, May 11th, 6 p.m.
Carolyn, okay, has a question. I'm wondering if we're having auto
See, I don't have that stuff on the side.
Do you want me to unmute or see if we're having audio issues? Okay.
Is there something? Do I push this?
What?
Do I push this to get?
Push what?
Okay.
Can't let.
I unmuted her, so she's.
He can't see, who else is in the meeting.
Or get on your participants. You can see who's in there.
Hello, this is Carol Baquet. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I can just barely hear Mr. Adler, and Blanche, I can barely hear you too. You show that you're muted, but Mr. Adler, it sounds like you're way far off. I can just barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
It's like way in the distance.
I am sorry, I don't know what is wrong. Hold on one second.
Anyway, if you can hear us at all, we're good. We're still moving.
I can hear you. I could hear you then. Thank you.
So, all right, we're moving on. We're into that new report shows economic value. This is that farm bill that Clark Ward was questioning about. I haven't had time to read this, so I'm gonna get a copy and we can put it back on for next week. But this is that new one, that trimming them trees around them houses and stuff, and that's what they can use it for. And he called this morning, asked if I had looked at it, and I haven't read it yet.
So does this say they can use it for that?
Well, I haven't read it yet, Chuck. I'm not sure. It shows how much.
We could get it on the computer so we can get it next week.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they can use it. That's what he's complaining about. So I don't know if that is a,
Apparently they did use it. I don't know if they can use it.
so apparently they did use it. So
He said it's being used all over the state. Well, we don't have control of what they're spending it on, but if I haven't read that yet.
I think that's something, yeah, I guess we could say something to dispute it, but it isn't ours.
It
Yeah,
comes
nothing to do
through,
with us.
it comes through the federal grant that, and I mean, they can write in too. He can dispute it because it's agricultural, so.
Wait a minute, I'd like to read it for next.
Okay, we're putting that on for next week.
He called me yesterday too, and I talked to him about that quite a bit, and he said there's nothing on the issues he was talking about with the NRCS grants. There's nothing that really can be done now because it's the way it was written into the farm bill. So there's not really anything that can be done now. But I told him that as things are written in the future, and if he has concerns about the egg producer, to bring those to the commission sooner if he's seeking support. So, and he said he would.
Okay.
The commission included.
All right, thanks, Billy.
Yeah.
All right, we're in a public comment. Any public comment? Can you hear us?
So there's nothing we can do about it. Should we talk about it next week?
Shouldn't
What?
I-
I don't think so, because I mean, they've already spent it and then it comes through with what they go after, and the agricultural people will have to step up and see what they can and can't do and how they can spend it, right?
Yeah. Sounded like a lobbyist issue. Maybe a lobby against it.
You could write a letter, but you guys, it's up to you if you want to have it on your agenda.
So
Yes.
I see why it shouldn't, you're saying that it shouldn't be on the agenda, it doesn't need to be on the agenda. Because there isn't anything we can really do about it. It's just something that's in the farm bill, and they're able to get grant money for it, and there isn't anything that we could say. I don't think even a letter would say anything about, oh, our,
I think it is good.
that's up to the.
Ranchers and that.
Any public comment?
So would we public comment, these are things that came for you for approval?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So.
You
we
want
got-
me to grab Sarah? Or
Yeah.
Morning.
Okay, so you're saying like the Visa one, the county health uses.
Correct.
And I thought the visas were for emergencies and if you couldn't get a claim submitted and now is it turning into something where they're using the visas for everything?
I think that if you don't have an account with something, so like with the sheriff's office, so that's on the county one. So yeah, county health, if they don't have a charge account with something, then they use that, use the card, but that's theirs. And then the road, the same thing. If they don't have an account with the company, then they use the card.
Well,
And then but then we've got the general one, the one for all
that's
county.
number 2.
And so that's where if you don't have an account with something in the sheriff's office, they needed to get a new TV. So, and so this is where the finance charge thing came in. I had to look back and figure out what happened there. So they got a new TV. However, they returned the TV and they had the return slip that came with all of the stuff for the billing last month. So it got deducted from the Visa bill. However, we just had the return slip. It's not that the thing actually got returned and the money got put onto the card. In fact, it hasn't even got put onto the card yet. And so that's
the one that's
Okay,
checked
the
there.
main
right.
thing-
So
the main thing that I'm saying is that they're using the Visa and we're not approving it. They're using it and they're buying stuff and we don't see it till after it's done and back. So we don't actually approve that claim because they're just using their Visa. There's not a real good paper trail. You have to go through the Visa line by line by line.
right, just like with all of the visas. Yes,
Yes.
it's just like that
And
with
like
all of
with-
the visas.
The one that the road uses, the rooms finally came in for
Mako.
their maker, yeah, and they were like, there was 4 at $317 for rooms. I'm just saying that the paper trail isn't really here.
Right, it's after the fact
Yeah.
for this, except
I mean,
for like
they're
with
doing it-
Neckers,
they're-
if you guys approved the trip thing, I guess, but no, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Oh, you already looked at it.
yeah.
Do you see where I'm
Yeah,
coming
no,
from?
I understand.
So like
There's
so,
not a good paper trail.
right, so like when Janine uses it for another vacuum, she comes in and talks with you guys about it, correct? Is that kind of how that's?
And
Well,
like
it's
with
happened.
the road going to Maker, it's like they just went and used it. And like I said, that was a discussion that we had previously because I didn't know anything about it. But I think that needs to be, if they're going to use it, I think it needs to be kind of advance notice.
Wasn't there a price set on it if they were gonna use it for too much, or was it, you want to know about every, like, that new place that we go get, just say, you're saying road, so when he has to go get them grade 8 bolts, he's gotta call us to get them grade 8 bolts first?
No.
Well, that's what, it's gonna go, show up on the
So
visa, is
this-
what I'm saying.
Well, it seems that, here's the thing, I guess now we can't have accounts with it, people. It used to be at once upon a time, there were accounts with people and they'd just send us a bill and now you just use a credit card.
That's pretty much like, a lot of them are going because they don't wanna, they want
So the
paid.
county isn't, we're not trustworthy, so they can't send us a bill apparently.
A lot of them are doing it. Costco did it on the hearing aid stuff. They won't take the credit, through Mako. You had to pay for it yourself.
Well, when you're ordering like on the internet or something, I still think there could be some advance notice if they're going into Missoula to get something. I think they know that if they don't have a charge account with that company, that they can use it. I mean, I understand that, but
Yeah, and most of it, I think that most of the stuff is because they order things online.
I don't know if I just did that or
This
any,
is-
go ahead,
I
Elena.
think
Oh,
Phyllis did
well,
that.
I know I am plugged in.
Oh.
So Blanche, I think that most of it is because, you know, a lot of these, where they're ordering it is online or they're doing it over the phone or something. And I think that's, and like what you guys are saying is that the ease with the credit card. So I don't know if you guys want to
Go ahead.
at the policy for how the card is used or.
I think we need to kind of address it a little bit because now they're using it
Mhm.
willy-nilly. It's
Right.
not like, it's like,
So-
okay, it's here, we can use it.
So, I guess, so my question, since the finance charge is because of a hiccup thing that happened with the sheriff's office, I'll redo this and put the finance charge to the sheriff's office.
To the sheriff's office. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll get that
Yeah.
fixed and,
Go ahead, Elena.
okay.
Okay, public comment. This is what this period is for, public comment.
I've been asking
Okay,
for.
wait, excuse me, please. Well, Sarah is not public. That should be a discussion that's on the agenda. Now, as
Don't
far
yell
as,
at
I'm still talking.
I know, but you're not gonna yell and be on.
Well, I'm sorry, you always interrupt me. This is not the first time. Let me finish, thank you. Now, are they gonna be, and I'm not gonna be cut off after my question. What she was talking about, the visas, is that gonna be charged, one, to their budget? Or why don't they ask or do a warrant? So you know, and there's a paper trail that it was charged to the visa. I mean, there's got to be a better system for tracking the money on this. And those charges, how much was that? $300 and something a room for that road and bridge convention, whatever? Who's paying for this, folks? We are, the public, the taxpayers. And I'd like to know where my money's going. Thank you. I'm done.
Good.
The reason that I brought up the visas is because the visa has to be paid early and we don't approve the claims because the visas come in early. And so what I was saying is I just wanted a little better paper trail. They are getting charged to the various budgets. That isn't the problem. It's just the problem of the use of it and maybe being a little more thrifty on using the
Well, yeah.
visa, just instead of not even thinking of just use the visa. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, but I think they
That-
have to, like what Scott was saying before, that some places you have to use a visa. So, I mean, it's just gonna take us checking it out a little closer, I think,
Well, and the point of the visa is it's already done and paid, and we're just signing after the fact, is what I'm saying. So there's no paper trail.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
And would that be a public comment? Is it something that because
Well,
it
we
was
can come out
brought?
and tell them to use go the other way and then just use the visa if you have to,
Yeah.
She's saying that we can't talk about because this is public time, so we can put it on the agenda for next week, Blanche.
We're past public.
Uh,
And we just wanted to get this taken care of because we thought it was important.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going into Road and Bridge. Paul is headed here and he's on the highway with a truck broke down.
What truck is that? The
Uh,
new one?
no.
I'm kidding.
Anyway, they're sitting on the highway, so he just,
Sure.
yeah, it's a dump truck, that death thing, the new stuff, that death, it's not a new truck, it's a 3-year-old truck. I was gonna tell you that. But it's a depth, you pour in, well, I don't know nothing about him. Anyway, it's sitting there and he'll probably have to get it towed in. He called RA and checked and the towing will be paid for and it's still under warranty. But he can't make it in. He just said that they're still blading. If we need to ask him a question, we can call him. Yeah, I don't understand that depth stuff. You got poured in and everybody's having trouble because they ran out. Now they've made a whole bunch of newer stuff and it's not meeting the standards and it's eating up owners.
Where it made it.
I don't have a clue. You can buy it anywhere now, but it's all different stuff.
Billy, why is this unplugged?
Because nobody could hear us. So I
So
unplugged
that
it.
has to be unplugged because nobody can hear because it's plugged in.
Is mine?
It was plugged in and
It's unplugged now.
it was plugged in and people were saying nobody could hear, nobody could hear. And when I unplugged it, they said
And
they
they
could hear. So I unplugged it so they could hear. And when we have a break, I was gonna look into it further.
Can people hear me?
I don't know. if it's
Yeah.
unplugged.
As soon as we have a break, I was gonna look into it.
Okay, we're gonna,
But they said they could hear better.
we're moving on to 9:25. Drummond Mayor Gail Leeper to discuss Holly Millings and the Drummond cleanup days. Discussion decision. Morning.
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 Earl came up, he's a council member too. So,
State your name if you talk, please.
Gail Leeper. So first thing I wanted to know is years ago, we had, and I don't expect a decision today, a dump day, a free dump day. It was a day of, people put stuff out on the street and then there was a group of people that came around and picked it up and took it to the dump. So if we can talk about that, having one of those, but it falls on the county.
Well, that's the thing, and now I just got a notice too that our dump fees are gonna go way up.
So, I mean, I
I'm just
just
giving you a
want you to consider it honestly, because Drummond doesn't pay for dumping. You know, we could say that we're gonna do that. We don't wanna do it that way. We want you guys to all be on the same page. And hopefully, we're just trying to get a community thing going is all. And I was jaded by it. The last one we had was 25 years ago. And somebody went on somebody else's property and took stuff and took it to Pacific. And, but that's why I want to talk about it, so we could get it well established out and what the criteria would be to come back up and talk to you guys about it. So I don't know how many, I might be able to look and see how many pounds we did last time. That
Wow.
25 years ago, to see if, you know, so you guys would know what that would cost the county with it. So that's the first thing. If you'll
Okay.
think about that, then I'll get put on the agenda and we'll come back and visit it again.
Yeah, if you can bring the information, I know it will be different on, I just don't want to all of a sudden clean up and then if somebody's redoing a place and then we're gonna end up with all their stuff.
Right.
I don't
Well,
want to get into that.
it's not that kind of stuff.
Okay. I just know that's what happened last time, then we started putting stuff. I
Right,
don't want to get over, you know, because like I said, it's going,
it is going.
that'd be the only thing.
Okay.
If it-
Question?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Drummond, the town of Drummond doesn't pay a dump fee?
We don't,
Well, Granite County pays the dump fee.
so if you look back in an agreement, that land was the town's and it was given to the county. And in return, we don't pay for dumping.
So is that the same way with the town of
I
Phillipsburg?
don't believe so.
Okay, so the town of Phillipsburg does pay for dumping.
I think so, but I don't know that for sure. I
I
only
don't
know
think-
what Drummond's is.
Well, I know Granite County pays for dumping. So we paid for dumping for several
Places.
places.
Yeah, yeah.
So what you're asking is a dump day and,
No charge,
huh,
no charge, just
No
dump it.
charge.
Yeah, just clean up the town and then haul it up there.
where and how does it get
They,
with the units that go into the dump?
Right. That's why I'm here, because the county would be paying for that.
Right.
And that's what, you know, so if I can find out how many pounds we did back in the day.
well, the worst thing too, well, I didn't mean, if we do that, not, if there's gonna be a well, then we get charged for that extra
Right,
crate or that coming up too. And then we gotta notify them and then that's all on the county too.
and, right, and that's why, you know, having the conversation about it, I mean, I think there's things that to consider, the good and the bad about it, and then make the decision with it. But there would be criteria, it couldn't be, you know, yard tail, you know, yard leaves and branches.
Cause that and all go in the burn pile and we don't get charged for that.
Right, right.
But the other stuff is what I'm worried about is all the painted stuff and just people
Absolutely,
doing
yeah.
them.
Okay, the only thing that I see this is so you say that you would pick it up, the city of Drummond would pick it up and dump it and it'd be on the city of Drummond's dump thing, which they don't have a fee. But the extra weight's gonna be in there from picking it up and it's gonna be the county.
That's one.
So
Yes,
that means that the city of Drummond picks this up and the people around the Drummond area get free dumping and they can throw all that stuff out and each person has a dump fee. So that means they can throw all this stuff out, the Drummond is gonna pick it up and dump it and county's gonna pay for it.
that's what I'm saying, to have a criteria. It might just be leaves and branches.
If that doesn't, that might be isn't a good philosophy to say.
Blanche, what I'm saying is, this is where we have to make a criteria about what that would be. I'm not saying a free-for-all. I'm not.
That's why I brought up that I'm worried about, you know, all this stuff. I agree.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm saying,
It could
Blanche,
turn
that's what I
into a
was,
free-for-all is what I'm saying.
and that's why I was telling her we'd have to put a stipulation on it that it can only be this stuff, cause we don't.
Just make it branches and
That's
trees
what
and
she,
whatever. I mean, that's it, and no garbage.
cause we don't want
We
them,
can't do it, we can just burn it up there, that's fine. But we gotta pay for the tonnage to go to.
Well, that means that the town of
That's not right,
Drummond's,
then we'd have to do the same thing for Phillipsburg.
yeah, that would have to be the same way, but Phillipsburg, there's still a dump fee for Phillipsburg, so they couldn't pick it up for free, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah,
'Cause
well,
I don't-
it's not
'cause-
fair, is what I'm
Well,
saying.
well, so did all of you guys know that Drummond doesn't pay? Or you knew, but you
Yeah.
didn't.
I knew, cause
And
we
I
had
might have
this,
known years ago, but I didn't think of it. But I just remember when we went to districts that the county could have been exempt, but we chose to go ahead and pay for our units of garbage. And I'm thinking that the town of Phillipsburg, I'm sure we'd have to look and stay paid. No, we didn't. I didn't realize that.
So me coming and talking to you guys could be a bad thing for Drummond, because you guys could look at that and say, hey, this isn't right, and take a look at that agreement. But we have to, it has to be out there. You know?
Right.
We have to talk about it.
Right. Yeah, because it actually isn't fair. Even if it's on your property.
Oh, trust me, the garbage cans that we have out, the people, they're full every day.
This is one thing that maybe during budget time for solid waste, things you're saying the fees are coming up.
they,
You might have opened a can of worms.
And so be it. It's something that needs to be addressed, plain and simple.
Okay, no, I don't mean that. I'm just saying that that's nice. You had a dump day that everything went in, but it's benefiting one area and the other areas don't get a free
Well,
dump day.
well, right, and even leaves and branches, we have to talk to you about it, because that's extra work for your dump attendant.
Do they have a burn pile in
They do.
Drummond?
yes, if there's a special one,
Yeah, and there's gotta be criteria for that.
Blaine's got.
I'll give my public comment. I think it's a great deal doing the dump day. I think, yeah, offer it for Phillipsburg too. And
Just as long as we have, we agree with the dump day, but we gotta
Yeah.
make sure that it's not gonna end up all of a sudden we got somebody tearing out, you know,
yeah,
Yeah,
leaves and
that's-
branches and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
cleanup day.
cause we don't wanna get into hauling people's stuff away and.
It's construction material or something like that. That's. one that's
Okay.
above me.
Right, and so for us, because we have a dump trailer, we can go around and pick up those things that can be burned. There might be, that's the way it's gotta be stated. There might, if there's wood that can be burned,
Well, let's make sure too that our burn pile isn't, because we get stipulation on it too, that we can't, because we don't have the room down there for like we have out here, so we don't want to flood that, and then we can't take stuff from other, you know, what I'm
And-
saying? The burn pile is only so big there.
and that's why I wanted
I
to
mean-
talk with you about it.
I think we need to put it on the agenda for next week, and then we can have a little more on it,
It
and then,
doesn't even have to be next week. It can be in a couple of weeks.
well,
You
I'm
guys
just
have to
saying that you can
mull
bring
it
more
over.
back, and then you can go
Yep.
on with your, that's all I'm saying, we can put it on for next week, and
And while I think this is something that maybe the town of Phillipsburg needs to be maybe involved and see if they're willing to pick up garbage and haul it at no charge to the Phillipsburg town, but the county pays for it.
just.
I don't know, I just don't think that's.
I
a
think
good
it's
idea.
gotta stay with the burn pile,
I
cause
think-
then we don't get charged, is what,
I think everybody has their own dump fees, their own how many units, and they need to do their own cleanup. I don't
Okay.
think that town should be cleaning up debris and stuff for the,
Perhaps I used the wrong terminology to you because you're stuck on garbage, and that wasn't the thought process. It was cleaning up in the spring debris.
so stuff that would just go to the burn pile.
that's what I'm saying, cause we can't
But-
do it with the other.
But you guys still have to be able to talk to your sites to make sure.
And that's why I'm saying we gotta make sure that we have room, so when they do this, that
Absolutely.
we can burn it.
I would think, excuse me.
No, go
don't mean
ahead.
to interrupt you. I would think this is something that the town of Drummond would be able to offer as long as you're taking it to the burn pile, because there wouldn't be any fee on it. And if you're picking up debris, that would be something from the town of Drummond. That would not be something from the commissioners to address, is
Well-
what I think.
Well, they would have to address it because
we don't-
of the limited area of burn, of the burn area.
And they
down at
can't
the
just
dump.
take it up there to throw it in while we're burning. That's what I'm saying, that they have to get with Paul or John or whatever, that we don't flood that site with all this burn stuff and we don't have the room.
So how about this? I will talk to Mayor Reddish about my thought process, and then we'll get put on the agenda and come back up with the criteria for the commission.
In 2 weeks,
Yeah,
okay. You'll get with Billy and put it on. Okay, all right.
okay, I'll do that. Okay, on to the next, the millings. So here's some questions that, I had. I had wondered about the low limit on that little bridge. I made copies of them,
Okay,
but these are from 2010, so I am,
we should have newer ones, Gail, because 2 years ago, Great West had, and then the state come through, and because we were talking about what a person could.
right,
do.
so it's not a big deal, but I got in touch with a guy. I just want record for down at Drummond.
And the sign on there wasn't up to date at that time, then we put that sign on just so we didn't break
Right.
that down.
It is. So the question to me was, with the millings going to be hauled that way, the fire chief was concerned about that little bridge, if it would take it. It will. It's fine because it's very short. But how many loads a day are we talking about going?
We won't
down
know until they actually, I heard they were getting put on hold for a while, so, but we wouldn't know until that state guy, or the, not the state guy, that, I can't think of his name. Paul's been talking to him and he's gonna let us know.
So when is he gonna let you know?
Paul said he left him a message, and
What are
Paul
you
can't be
talking
here
about?
today due to the fact that we got truck broke down, but he was gonna be here to answer these questions.
So, okay, so
I'm
the,
confused.
I'll
What do you
tell-
mean the state guy?
Not the state. I didn't mean to say the state. It's state, Montana Department of Transportation's project to recut the highway. But I
So
didn't,
we are getting millings from
we
the
don't know
state.
yet.
You don't know yet.
Nope.
So how did you, is there some kind of contract or something that you have to fill out before you get millings from the state?
Just approval that we'd take them when we talked about it. If we
So
could,
did
if,
we decide we would take them? I
yes,
thought we weren't going to do that.
we decided to take them. What's that? I mean, I'm just saying, we sat right here and decided to take them and stockpile. That's why we set that up in Parks' Field too, to put them in there. We're not using them. We're just stockpiling. And they're doing it. We're not.
Yeah, we agreed to it because it was basically free. We were just gonna storm there.
Yeah, so you said, that's what we talked about. You said free millings, which never are really free, but in other words, you said, yeah, we'll take anything we get pretty much. So we'll take it and then have it stockpiled?
Yes.
so then the county will own those.
Yes.
Okay. So can you find out that guy's name
Yeah,
from
I can call Paul.
MBT?
It's not Riverside, a Knife River guy. I'll have Paul.
Okay. Okay, so you'll find out how many loads daily
Yeah.
and how long, is it gonna be 1 or 2 months?
Yeah, it's all depends on weather too on that, because they can only cut at a certain time and temperature.
So, so it's just gonna, I mean, we'll have a day's notice.
Nice, well, yeah, I guess. Paul's talked to him. He said he was gonna be here, but he can't, so.
Okay,
I
so
can
what
call-
about then, that's gonna
You
create,
want me to get him on the phone, then he can
I
answer, because
think
he's
so.
talking to him. I think it's better than me trying to answer, or 406.
Oops, I gotta do the one.
Oops.
Do I have to do the one?
I did the other day, and then I was too slow, and it kept kicking you out.
Exit. How do you do this? So that-
You want me to call him on my phone, just have him call
Well,
him?
it'd probably be easier to call them on this. Let's hang up and hang up.
Just a second.
There, okay. 406. 406
370. I'm calling, I'll just have him
70
4117.
4117.
Hello, you've reached Paul. Leave your name and number. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you. Bye.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Paul, this is the commissioners. You call in right away. Thank you. Bye.
do we know who's hauling?
No, they hire contractors to haul the millings. Hey, Paul, would you call in right away? Yeah, Gail's got some questions. Mayor has some questions for you. Thanks. See, they haul the hot stuff because it's got to be hauled in special trailers, and the milling stuff is the old stuff, and they hire subcontractors.
Okay, so it's a subcontract.
Yeah, he's calling right now, so. Yeah.
Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Okay, the mayor, Gail, has some, has some questions for you.
Hey, Paul, do you know how many loads a day are gonna be hauled out there?
I'm not sure because it all depends on how much they use, but I'm sure it's gonna wind up being, 30 or 40.
Okay. And how long will it be? Is it gonna be like a month or 2 months that happens?
It'll be, it's tentative from the 15th of May till the 15th for 30 days.
Okay. And then, do you know, if they'll use a water truck to water down the streets, cause it's gonna cause a bunch of dust.
I doubt they have any plan for that, but if it came to something like that, we could shoot some water on it with one of our
Okay.
drums, you know.
Okay.
Are you worried about the one in the main street? Cause in that state anyway?
No, well, coming off of that, but even
Out
going
past,
out
yeah.
there,
No, we
you
can
know,
help.
that's, yeah. And
Yeah, we can definitely water some.
perfect, thank you. And he answered that who was hauling was some subcontractors from Knife River, right?
There's gonna be what?
There's subcontractors from Knife River that are doing the hauling.
Oh, I don't have any idea if it's Knife River, but there's some contractors like Montag and, Frank Branch, there's a bunch of local contractors that are gonna work there too.
Okay, and who hires them? The state?
Yeah, but no, the contractor that, is doing the job, you know.
Okay, and who is that?
But it's all through the state.
But you don't know
It's
who
all-
that contractor is?
Yeah, it's, LHC.
LHC, all right, okay. Those were all the questions. You got any questions?
Earl Clute, Town of Drummond. I just have a question. Have you guys notified Montana Rail Link about going over the crossings? That might be something.
Well, wouldn't
Just-
be, oh.
just
yeah, we'll have to
neighborly.
get- Yeah,
I
no,
mean-
we can get home.
Crossings are expensive, you know, and they're gearing up for this Amtrak through there already. It's just something to think about. I mean, you know, you never know what they might require. They might require a flagman there even though there's crossing arms.
Amtrak won't be this summer.
No, but they're gearing up their crossings, they're tearing up their side tracks. They're doing all of that right now.
So it's,
I mean, if there was if we wound up having a problem with any of them, we'd just go the other way and stay on our own road.
Well, it's just a question to ask. I mean, it's a neighborly thing to do. You know, because they own a lot of property in our county.
so maybe that's a question then, now that we know who the contractor is, LHC, to ask them. A concern that we had when Highway 1 was down and all the traffic was diverted that way. When there's a train, then it backs up people, which is not a big deal. I mean, we can all get through it. It's not, you know, it's just having a conversation. These are the questions that people are asking me in Drummond. So,
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So the millings, we are accepting the millings, any millings, and is there a highway project going on where we're going to accept millings?
This is the one he's talking that
So
started the
this
15th.
definitely a project, and they're hauling the millings to our site, and they're the ones that are paying the expense to haul the millings.
Yes.
The LHC,
Yep. Yes, it's all through the state.
okay, so this is through the state, but is this something that we had to sign a contract for? Did we already accept and sign a contract for this, to accept these millings?
We did.
And when did we do
Yeah,
that?
we did. Oh, several months ago.
So that was on the agenda that we signed it and we looked at it?
Because we had to give them.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
yeah,
Thank
it's been
you.
a long.
and so then we'll come back after this gets going and stuff, then we can come back and talk to everybody about what those millings will be used for, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good.
and I'll get a hold of them, and I'll also get a hold of Rail Link, and then I'll let you know what the response was, Gail.
That's fine, yeah. Well, actually, it's probably up to that contractor, now that we know who the contractor is, because they've called Drummond's office. So,
Right.
All right.
Okay, I have
Thank-
just one more question. And this is like for the millings, if we were not going to do any laying down the millings because we didn't have budget power to do it this year. Can the town of Drummond use some of those millings? Do we let them use some of those millings to lay down at their expense?
We can if they
I don't
need
see
it.
why not.
We've talked.
Well, Paul, when you talked to me about using that road, you had told me that the county was gonna lay millings down on South Main.
Yeah, and there's no reason we wouldn't do it because there's no way you can do it. Why wouldn't we do it?
Well, and the other part of it is, that was my concern, was that road in good enough shape to haul millings down that way? And that's not on the county, that's on the town, but we just had a CIP, that's gonna cost almost $1 million to do that section, to redo it the right way. That bridge alone to replace it is $400,000. That's my concern about South Main.
Hurting the bridge.
Okay, what you're saying, Paul, Paul, excuse me, what you're saying is that we're going to do it, but we didn't really budget to lay it down, and we don't know what it's gonna cost. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there wouldn't be any out of house money. You know, we just do it with all our own stuff. It's such a short stretch, and the mailings are gonna be piled right there, you know, a quarter mile from location. So we're out of manpower.
Okay, so it's just the county doing it. You're not gonna hire somebody else to do it, okay,
No, we do it 100% ourselves.
okay.
But if it was sealed, that would be up to the town to do that.
Yeah, cause that's $20,000 a month.
Correct, Paul?
Yeah, correct.
That
But
was.
we would just incorporate that, like maybe next year when we do smart chip sealing, you know, when we budget for it, then, you know, get with you and then get that half when I'll chip seal at the same time.
Correct, yes, okay. That's all I have.
Okay. Anything else? All right, we're gonna move on because we're waiting. It's, we're gonna, thanks,
Thank
Paul. It's for 9:35, the dam, Georgetown Lake outflow decision. Come on up, Ben. How are you, Ben?
Good, how are you?
Say the lake is at 6428.75, 9 inches below full pool. It came up some more. Was at 1032, so we're up to 9 inches. My thought is that I thought maybe we could talk to the Fish and Wildlife and Fish and Game and see, because it's coming up, irrigation system's gonna come up and they're gonna want, you know, but I think we need to talk to the agricultural to try to get a hold of people that are on that and see, do they actually need the water right now, or can we wait until they really start needing it and then let it out? Being it's, I think we still got to worry about trying to fill it and save the water till they really need it. And don't go just stay at the 6, even when it gets to the irrigation time when we're supposed to let 30 out. Does that make sense?
So on the 15th of May is when we have to start letting 30 out?
30,
Supposedly, he's
Yeah.
trying to get a stay on that, and I agree with him.
Yeah.
I think we can do this.
Well, I think we can get a hold of have Blaine, and then we can talk to FERC too, because I think as long as we can get the support, Blanche, from which I'm pretty sure that we will, the Fish and Game and all them, and the homeowners and the land. I mean, the people aren't, it's too cold, nothing's growing, and they don't want to waste that water.
So, yeah, if you have everyone's consent on the deal, then we can do a letter of temporary modification to FERC. But I encourage you to have there be unanimity with the landowner that there's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that we need, that's why we're bringing this out. right now.
One rancher objects. Then we can't.
it's still gonna be up to us really, because I mean, we gotta get that up full and we don't, I mean, for,
Okay,
You
so
subject yourself to some
Question.
liability. I hope they'd all be in agreement.
does this mean that what you're trying to do is we need to get an agreement where we don't have to let 30 out on the 15th? We want to try to get it full?
that's why I'm bringing that up
Agreed,
now.
yeah.
That's last
At
night.
least try to get another couple of weeks to go.
Yeah.
Just so they can utilize the water and what we're getting and hold off until, because right now there's nothing growing. It's damn cold that I think we need to, that's why I want to do it and put it on for next Tuesday, maybe put it on for a little bit longer and try to, I'll have, or we can try to get a hold of some of the, like Jason or whoever's on that ditch up there, and then they can come in and give theirs and we can see if we can make something work. That's my,
I agree.
No, I agree, we gotta try. It's 9 inches is still way too low.
mine.
So keep it at 6
But
Yeah,
for this week?
we'll go ahead and, do I have a motion?
You know, we'll keep it at
Yes,
6. Keep it at 6.
I'll second.
Any public comment on that, Blaine?
I was gonna, comment back on what Blanche had said about the agreement. I think you'd want something in writing from all three of the federal agencies and letters from the landlord.
Well, that's, I feel that we can send that out to them, get a hold of Brad Learman and have Billy get a hold of the 3 agencies and then get them. So next Tuesday, they're on board. And hopefully they'll be on the phone or whatever with us so we can actually, everybody's involved.
Good.
The most we could hope for, I think, would be 2 weeks. 'Cause, I mean, then it'd be June, then things are starting to.
Because I mean, I just, after looking at a couple of these other reservoirs, it's not good. But what's your idea, Brandon?
Oh, I agree. You see how low it was last year?
Okay.
Way low.
Is there any public comment on the motion?
Oh, I know.
Oh, Elaine, go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano for the record. In the correspondence, and you have Flint Creek Dam Advisory Committee, they're meeting tonight. So you can talk to them tonight, no?
We know.
Well, I'm saying you can talk to them tonight about what
They're
you're
the
doing.
only ones that are on this that we need to talk to
Yeah,
about.
there's no ranking on them, so what's the point of doing something?
I'm
There
just,
is no ranking.
These guys agree with me.
I'm trying to just involve everybody, Elaine. I'm not just picking through the advisory board. I just want everybody on, because we have to go through FERC too, is what I'm saying.
Exactly. I know that. And the
So
whole
now you're
point,
letting him- I'm talking.
the point being, it's the dam water coming out for the hydroelectricity. That's why FERC is involved.
That's not, anyway, that's the,
So
Well-
that was a point of, that I just wanted to make, that the Flint Creek Dam Advisory Committee is meeting tonight.
I
So there's
know
a
that.
chance, just let me say something, Chairman. When a person comes with a comment or a question, it is not directed to you alone. You have 2 other commissioners there. And if they want to speak, they can speak also. I'm not directing my question to you alone. But you're always there answering it. Now I'm finished. Thank you.
That's because he's the chair.
Thank you. All in favor of leaving it at 6? Aye. Brandon? Thank you. We'll leave it at 6. Motion been carried and passed, and we'll go ahead and,
So we all.
no, you want me to shut it off? Can we, go ahead. Okay, we're back. We're on to the
We're back. Vicky Harding.
review of the art. Hold on a sec.
We have
Hey,
one
We're
more
gonna
thing.
do the art.
Oh,
Yeah, hold on a sec.
We're gonna do the art.
Hold on. Yes, that's what I'm, we're on the review of the ARPA grants discussion.
So I gave you guys a little packet Sarah made. Is this it? Yeah,
This one here.
So what you gave us was the budget that we've already done
yes, so this.
and what we've already received. That isn't discussing anything about the grant itself.
Well, that's your direct allocation. So you guys don't have anything in Meg because you gave it to the town. So this is kind of looking at what you have, what you've spent, because this is what you could look at and decide if you wanted to allocate anything towards culverts, basically. Like, this is what you have. So if you guys wanted to adjust anything to allocate anything to culverts, it would be looking at this and making a change.
And on
That
that
would be
note,
during the budget process.
Yeah,
We
no.
can't make a mid-year decision.
well, the other thing was too, that on that Blanche, he was gonna bring in what places and that we were gonna get something, paper trail on where the
Okay,
culverts
so
could.
wasn't
that-
this had to do with infrastructure? This wasn't the ARPA one, right?
No,
No, there's nothing in infrastructure for that.
no, this is that one that we can actually use for culverts and that. And Paul was gonna have us, where he thought he could put it in, so why we put it on, so we knew how much that if we could, to put it towards, because remember, this is
Okay,
where we was gonna get the
so-
bigger culverts.
Okay, I understand that. We received half. We're gonna get the rest of it, and it'll be probably next budget year. This would be something that you would budget for next year, whether or not the culverts, and if the culverts came in before the budget process, we could do a line item culverts.
Well, I think a lot of it too was that we were talking about, we want to be heads up on before, so we kind of had an idea that when we did go into June on the next one, that we'd know what actually he needs or what he thinking putting culverts. We asked him to get that for us.
You know, to me,
What's that?
That infrastructure thing, so complicated. You know, I was watching on the news. Yeah, I was watching on the news. I mean, this is for the next 5 years.
Scratch my glasses.
They
I
do
know.
do that, whatever, and you gotta wait for the little timeline.
And nothing's out yet.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Slow.
Okay, Blaine, this is something that, this has nothing to do with the infrastructure. We haven't done anything with that infrastructure grant, right?
Nothing's
Is that
out
correct?
yet.
Yeah,
Blaine?
that's been, yeah, not whether there's anything out yet, but they're becoming, potentially there's gonna be monies for the dam, but there'll be a lot of people going after them, so you have to be ready to be prepared to go after them when they come out.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with the ARPA funds, the infrastructure.
Correct. Two separate bills.
And so the culverts are in the ARPA that we can use, okay. It's just confusing.
There'll probably be stuff for, potentially for that, with infrastructure, we just don't know yet.
So you can't really budget anything until you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of moot.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to the treasurer, Vicky Harding. Sorry.
Treasurer Vicky Hart. Sorry, I didn't know that there was, you guys were behind. I can, okay. So we're gonna start with January as our. So we're gonna start with January. So we have, checking was $622.64. Deposits in $30,153. Less outstanding treasurer's check $12,147. So bank balance $638,270. We had payroll, in the payroll account was $30,203. CDs $529,775. STIP protested $372.23. Memorial set $37,929. Airport $68,300. STIP we have $8,728,838. Treasury bills $178,776. Petty cash $725. And so then we have in Black Mountain $10,139.91.
10 million?
19, huh?
10 million?
10 million. Did I say 10,000? Oh, 10 million, okay. 139.91. So a difference of 1,997. Okay, and on to February. I can catch you. All right, so February, we have 549, 642, plus 25,787, less 9,639. So bank balance of 565,790. Payroll, we have $44,003. CDs, 529,775. SIP protested, 372. Memorial is 37,929. Airport, 68,300. STIP, you have 8,614,942. Treasury bills, 177,510. Petty cash, 725. So in Black Mountain, we have 9,962,879. Difference of 2,466. And then we have March.
Thank you.
No, stop touching me. Okay. I wondered where I'll have to get you a check check register, because I don't have one for March. Can you give me one?
No.
Oh, this was a terrible Monday. Terrible.
I keep reading that top one. It keeps saying December.
All right.
Don't.
So March we have, checking was $1,028,526. $1,028,526. Deposits in transit, 22,684. Less outstanding treasurer's checks, 10,638. So a bank balance of 1,440,573. Payroll, 30,475. CDs, 529,775. STIP protested, 372. Memorial, 37,929. Airport, 68,300. STIP, we have 7,404,235. Treasury bills at cost is 171,417. Petty cash is 725. And Black Mountain side, we have 9,224,426. So a difference of negative $1,096. And I'll get you.
Would you explain the negative compared to the positive from last month's, the 2466?
It's just a difference in, maybe I missed something and I didn't catch it, like a deposit in or something that got paid out.
So negative, we have less, and positive, we have more?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And I'll get you a check register for March. Sorry about that. I heard from that MVD, she's gonna bring her bosses tomorrow afternoon. We're just gonna look at the office, and I think maybe the wiring. She sent me a text yesterday afternoon for the driver's license. So, and then this afternoon, I have a meeting with the Georgetown Lake Fire Service area. And Myrna's gonna be there too, so I think they're gonna catch her on some.
So she's gonna check on the wiring?
Well, I think they're gonna look at the wiring and see how much that, I think they already have an appointment in with them guys that get over here, and I don't think it's gonna take them very long.
So is this something that the JP can utilize too, or she doesn't have to wait for months?
Exactly. Because I'm gonna ask them if they actually have a date on when the wiring is done.
That's why I brought it up last time, to make sure they would look and
Yeah.
see, so we're not putting them in somewhere and then it don't work and then we gotta move everybody back. They gotta make sure all,
And it should be fine.
Blaine,
They,
Jesus,
you
sorry.
guys send over a draft contract too. when-
I'm gonna talk to them
Okay.
about that tomorrow, because I found the old contract, and
So they have,
Got our
she said
space
they'd
there.
send it. Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
So they chose the assessor's office.
downstairs.
Oh, they chose
No,
downstairs.
She was very excited about the downstairs office. She
Okay.
really,
I think that
which
was
I was
that,
really happy of.
I think that was a good note, because then they can use that handicap thing.
Yeah, the handicap, and there's plenty of space in the hallway for people to sit
Yeah,
out there,
yeah.
and the bathroom's right there. Yeah, and bathroom, and it's plenty big enough for her equipment, plus, she said they have to, in order to do the real ID, they have to bring in a scanner. The scanners aren't that big, I mean, look at mine, it's just a copier scanner. So all you're doing is they're scanning the, their paperwork, so. And they still got room for a person to sit in there and take a written test or
All
So
righty.
I'm glad you picked that one up to me. And I said, well, because you're only the one, you're the only one that's gonna be in that office. There's not gonna be people in and out, other people using it. So I think that kind of got it.
Yeah.
I was happy.
Was there any public comment for Vicky Harding on
Yeah.
cash reports? Go ahead, Elena. Go ahead,
Well, it
Elena.
has to do, well, it has to do with cash, but you didn't ask for a public comment when you were doing the ARPA budget. I just want it verified how much is still available in the ARPA money.
It's 300 and something. Right?
Well, we haven't gotten our second deposit of the $328,165.50.
Because it says credit and it says from June 21st. Doesn't that say that?
Oh, that's from June 21.
It's got the debits out of that amount. So,
I don't know, I would have to do that.
Okay, what's her question?
What's the budget in the fund right now? Or what's left in the fund right now? Can you calculate?
So the fund was budgeted at 656, 330.
But
And cash was 328. And the second would be coming in. When was this going to be in, Vicky? Do you remember?
within a year of the first deposit, so it could be any time between June of 2021 and June.
So we've just got the first half. We haven't got the second half.
Correct.
so out of that first half, there's two amounts. It was Kessler Custom Shops, a payment, and then Big Sky Passenger Rail. So that came out of that ARPA fund, right? That 328,000, is that the way it's read?
That's the cash that was received, the 328 on the first amount. Yeah.
Those, Elena, this is plain, those funds have been committed though to the projects at the courthouse and jail.
Yeah, well, the 1480, that's the one I'm familiar with. That was already sent, right? So it was deducted from the ARPA, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so then out of that 328, 165, what's left? Or is there more that was taken out from ARPA?
What is she looking at?
I don't have a clue. I was reading.
I'm looking at the ARPA documents. There's
Okay,
two
so what-
pages.
Okay, this is what has been expended to date from the ARPA funds is $94,739. And 93,259 was from Kessler. And then the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority got 1480. So you subtract the 94 from 328 and you see what the budget is left.
Thank you, Blanche.
And the one payment was the, added cell project. We got the
Yeah.
added cell project, elevator, bathroom, handrail project.
So,
What
yeah,
was the, I'm
we
sorry,
did elevator and jail cell, and we've only gotten the jail cell, or we paid for that yet?
Well, the materials we paid for.
Okay, so Blanche, I'm sorry, what was the total amount that you said? Because I'm
You're
looking at 328, 165.
Go ahead.
Are you
Blanche.
asking what is left in the budget for this fiscal year from the 328, 165.50?
Okay, that you're saying is the only payment we received?
That's,
That is the only amount that we have received, and we have expended 94,739. We did
Oh,
budget
see this,
the whole 600 and what, 28,000 was
budgeted.
is budgeted for this fiscal year.
all right.
And you haven't gotten the second payment, so we're just talking about this first payment. That's all I was asking for, was clarification and of the expenditures out of that 328. And so those two payments are the only two, nothing else. That's all I was confirming. Correct?
Really?
Yep, correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, thanks for explaining that, Blanche. All right, so we're moving on to the final comments on the Montana Department Transportation Speed Study, Black Pine intersection. I see we have that letter from.
You just have the letter from Elena, and then there's like a draft letter that Blaine and I kind of put together that I have up on my screen that I can edit as you guys see fit. I haven't received any other letters, but I did reach out to the LETC, the sheriff's office, the Phillipsburg Director of Transportation for the school buses, mayor.
And that's what we asked you to do, and so this is a whole. More than one letter. I mean, our letter will be two, but it's not going nowhere, I'll tell you that without.
That, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Unless more letters come in, and even then, it's an uphill.
Well, we
Even
don't,
with the letter.
we don't have time either, because they having that meeting, remember, and that guy said you have to get them in right away.
It has to be in by today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So-
did it today.
I encourage you to send what you have, but it's not gonna be successful like.
The other day, when I was going through Anaconda, heard the day, didn't they extend the 45-mile-an-hour speed limit way west for the sheep?
Yeah, they did.
So they can do that for the sheep, no problem. But you can't do it for people?
I don't know if they're doing it for the sheep. I think they're doing it because it's a residential area is why they do it.
I think they did it.
Well, I
I
think
don't
that
think it's
one sheep,
definitely sheep.
well, they hit that one sheep, and I think somebody got killed. So that's why they used it, as that they could use that to push it through.
But
I-
well, that was actually the state legislature did that on that. That's in.
Yeah.
For the
that's-
sheep.
But I hear what you-
Yes.
No, but the speed zone there is set in code.
But yeah, I know what Chuck's saying, but there was something happened there. Remember they hit and killed a bunch of them, and so then all of a sudden, yeah.
Well,
So,
I didn't know
But-
anybody got killed.
Yeah, there was
Somebody
people that been
Yeah,
killed.
there's-
Not the sheep.
there's-
There was an accident there a few years back.
Anyway, but the main thing was that we needed more support and letters, and obviously the only one we have is from Elena and us, and I just got bad, that's not gonna push it.
So Blaine, what are you saying, that we should go ahead and send in the two letters, or do we need more?
I'd send it in, but it's likely not going to succeed, but at least the counties, you guys are doing what you feel is right, but if the letters.
Do you need a motion on that to send our letter?
Yeah.
I'd entertain a motion for,
Well, I'm going to send a letter, I mean, at least we can tell them what we think.
Do you guys make changes to it?
Blanche.
you never wanna, I told you so deal, but something happens here that you guys were,
Well, at least,
commission was trying.
at least it'll be on record too.
Yeah, be on record and trying.
You know, I thought of another place too. I gotta get something gotta be done in legislation where local governments have more say. But anyway,
Agreed.
on the esports, you come out on the esports and you come up the hill from Trumbull, and those people are flying. And there's several times, you know, I turned in and all of a sudden the car.
It's flying.
And they're just 70 miles an hour and there's no.
So the kids work out there in Rock Creek. We get them going the other way too.
Is there any public comment on the speed study for Black Pine? Being none, all in favor of sending the letter?
Aye.
Aye. Motion been carried and passed. Thank you.
So it has to go out today, right? Okay, so 2 letters.
Yep.
But 2 letters is 2 letters, I guess.
At least it covers that we tried, you know.
Why?
So on,
Don't look.
Deja vu.
Yeah, I was just mimicking your face. That's how
Is that
you
what my face looks like?
Thank you.
Big old word. Okay, you're welcome.
can we go off, Billy? All right, we're back on. We're still got a few minutes before the next one. Any public comment left on the speed study?
Did you, has it been signed or?
No, I need to get it on
Oh.
nice letterhead and then I'll
Oh,
Just needs on.
oh,
run that. Like, stick it out in the modem. I thought there would be changes.
It's the banging. Upstairs?
It sounds.
see his pickup out here. He
Well,
must
I
be.
bet we're gonna
Oh,
know.
yeah. The thing is
Oh,
sitting right there.
I text him.
You get, been waiting for the good weather, so.
I- It'll be a little annoying, but we need to get it done.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, he's got,
you know, if there's a
the
court
weather's good.
day or something there, we can always,
Agreed. You're done.
you agree with that?
I'm concentrating.
That's how you caught me earlier. I was like, what?
No, I am looking up vet fund.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a couple things wrote down here too.
Where is my mouse?
Okay, we're gonna move on now. We're into the public health travel budget review discussion. I had this put on because I got lost in the meeting there on the, I heard pay half for this, half for that, and I'm not quite sure what we're looking into this.
So anything that she would be wanting us to pay half on, she couldn't say that we were gonna take it out of county health because she can't use that budget just to pay for training things for, I assumed that it was out of FEP, and FEP travel budget is, they've expended only 15% of their travel.
So we're still good on that. That's what I wrote down too. I wasn't quite sure. I
So-
heard a bunch of trainings and stuff and I wasn't quite sure where we were
Do
sitting.
we need to visit with Leanne?
She's supposed to be on.
So we've got the total budget for FEP was 28,674. There's still 55% left in that budget at $13,008. And like I said, this is May. This is 3/4 of the budget. There's plenty of budget power in FEP.
Trainings have been good
Yeah.
and they got a lot of budget.
And I just didn't understand because there was so much there saying going to Atlanta and all this. And I guess I was just, do we have any, I mean, I'm not trying to micro on it, but do we have any say to, like, some of these, would it be better to stay home and Zoom them? Or spend that money to trap fly, or do they have to be in person? I guess I just didn't understand all the comments and I got lost.
Good to have it on the agenda. I think it's good to clarify it.
She was gonna be on, I thought,
When the commission can set the policy, we prefer they do it by Zoom if it's gonna be a long ways off. I know like county attorney training they did a couple years ago on Zoom. That was difficult.
Yeah.
To do it by Zoom.
It
It was painful.
can be very difficult
Yeah.
because I tried to go to a commission on Zoom and I couldn't do it. I had to get off of it. You couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
It was a joke.
Sometimes in person is the way to go.
So we need a motion then to go ahead and pay him out of stuff?
I think when she invoices maybe.
Well,
Wait for the invoice.
it's
Yeah, she's listed.
budgeted. I think
It's
it's, yeah,
budgeted.
it's budgeted. I think
Yeah,
it's fine. I don't
there's-
know. I think
I don't understand what it's on the agenda for. It's budgeted.
It's just clarifying.
Clarifications
Yeah.
all.
so I guess it was just a clarification of trying to figure out how much and what's going on. I was lost. That's why I didn't.
Well, I assume that when she was visiting, I remember her saying that there was plenty of budget in FEP. And FEP is pretty much, they are discretionary with county health, with Leanne, correct? Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah.
If they've got it and they
Mhm.
got so much to spend and they can spend it
It's
discretionary.
good that she came in and talked to you about it, but
Yeah.
yeah, they have the budget authority and.
And it's not a percentage of how much we have to give. It's just straight half down the line, no matter what.
Well, it sounds like since she does Anaconda Deer Lodge County as well, so that she's saving the county money.
Saving-
going to the
yeah.
trainings
Okay,
like
that's
that.
all there. Now, yeah. Is there any public comment on this? This was all, yeah, I just didn't quite understand how it was sitting and how we paid or if we had, how the billing was.
Pardon me?
I just didn't understand how, when I heard billing, that we'd have to bill.
Oh, that's under the, I know what you're talking about. It's under the grant for, the CIT trainings with the sheriff's department for, I think it's Rico went to CIT training. I talked to the sheriff about that. and I'm working with him on that.
And then that's where we bill them because you're
Yeah.
working on it?
No,
And then you get or we get,
no, the sheriff's department's gonna end up getting reimbursed.
oh, see, I'm lost.
So that has nothing to do with FEP?
Yeah.
No, that's
Public-
under another.
Public health had applied for it.
Right,
But
I
for
remember,
CIT
yeah.
CIT training.
Yeah.
All right, well. We still got 10 minutes. Is there any public comment on this? Jen? Oh, no, it blinked. I see, sometimes it blinks. Is that, yes, maybe. It could be.
Does she want you to talk?
Well, I don't know.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, now
yeah,
she
there.
does.
See, it was on and it goes off and it come back on. I did catch it. Go ahead, Jen.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so the billing to go to Alana for me, half would be right around $900. Just that's about where it's at for half for you guys, just so you guys know.
Okay.
And that's coming out of FEP, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
See, it doesn't have anything to do with public health.
Okay.
or county health.
Or county health, it has just with FEP. Okay.
Right, that will come straight out of FEP for that.
Okay, I put this or got it put on. I just was totally lost and I heard billing and half this and half that. And I just wasn't quite sure what was all going on and if we pay a half or a percentage of whatever. So that's all it was. I just didn't understand.
Yep, and like Billy said, CIT, once they figure out how much it was to send the police officer for his wages and his time up there, then you guys send us the bill and we pay that bill for that police officer for the CIT training.
Hey Jen, quick question. That officer ended up getting overtime that week, so just bill you for that as well.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, thank you. It was, I understand a lot better now. I was just lost. Oops,
I'm not sure you can do the overtime on a different budget. I think the overtime has to come off the regular budget. Any overtime is always in the past that, for example, if you got hours, you got your regular work hours in one budget, that's where the overtime comes.
Yeah, I think you guys could direct it, but if that's the way that Ben, then I'd keep going.
Well, I don't think we can change in midstream saying, well, we'll just pay it out of this fund because.
What, Blanche, what do you mean by just
For the sheriff's budget,
Yeah.
any overtime that's in the sheriff's budget, we're reimbursing. We can't reimburse the overtime. That just comes the regular time. The overtime has to be paid out of the sheriff's budget.
I assume it's healthy, his budget's healthy, I think.
I just didn't quite understand how
Yeah,
it is.
I'm pretty positive about that, but I'll ask.
Okay, well, thanks for
Sarah.
explaining that to us. We're gonna always do that. Any public comment on this?
I have a clarification question. 'Cause when I was doing the minutes on this, she wasn't talking so much about Jennifer's training, she was talking about Deb's training. So those will also come out of that?
No, because she's county health, right?
She didn't say Jen's training, she said she was invoicing us for Deb's training.
I think that's where I got lost because
'Cause I
why?
noticed that when I did the minutes thing, that's why I pulled this budget.
Really?
Because when I did the minutes, I went back and I actually replayed them twice. I was like,
So that,
but I don't know for certain. And she's not on, but maybe when she does our contract renewal, I'll reach out to her for some clarification.
So what you're saying is because it was Deb that went, that it should come out of county health?
No, I'm just saying that's why I pulled that budget, because that's what she was talking about, Deb. But I don't.
So
wanna
even
say
special
anything.
training, they said could be pulled out of that budget.
special trick.
I guess, I don't know. I'm just asking.
I think you can.
So you put this on the budget? You were,
No, I just printed this budget. I didn't put anything on anything.
I asked to have it, so I didn't know what was spent in that. That's me. I did that because I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Elena, go ahead.
Thank you for the record. I'm looking at the document that was put up for this item, public health budget. And that's what I'm looking at. And then it has travel, item number 370. And when Jen came in, she said something totally different. And I think Billy was saying something that's a good point. Are we talking about FEP or Public Health Board? This is the Public Health Board item. The travel figures, that wasn't explained. Sorry. I'm sorry again if I ask these questions because it is confusing and apparently it's just as confusing to the commission. That's the reason why. Thank you.
May I make a comment?
Yes.
The misunderstanding where the budget power would come from, and it wouldn't come out of the county health fund, it would come out of FEP. And so we were just clarifying that this budget was available through FEP, not the county health fund.
Thank you. I just didn't understand.
And that's what was being clarified, is that it had nothing to do with the county health fund. It has to do with the FEP fund. And I went over the FEP fund saying what was in the budget power, and there was plenty of budget power in travel left to be reimbursed by FEP, billed out by FEP.
Thank you.
Elena has another.
Uh-oh, hand raised again.
Elena, go ahead.
Thank you, Blanche, for explaining that. I don't see the FEP budget on here. Okay, so if there's a confusion about public health budget or the FEP budget, why isn't that up there for their traveling expenses? So that's why it's confusing to the people that are looking at this, because the documents aren't, you know, there's the public health. I mean, we're supposed to guess. Sorry about that. Excuse my ignorance. Okay, thank you.
We're not saying anything about ignorance. All I'm saying is that this was put on the agenda. It was assumed that it came out of county health fund when it didn't come out of county health fund, it came out of FEP fund. So while we were waiting to get on the agenda, I went into the website or went into Black Mountain and looked up the FEP fund to see the monies that were in there, because that's where it was supposed to be budgeted out of. That's the only thing. It was confusion, and it was resolved.
Okay, we have a comment for Jackie. Go ahead. Thank you, Blanche, on that. I was lost. Go ahead, Jackie.
Okay, so to clear up the confusion even further, Jen went in the FEP budget. That is where her monies is coming out of, and Deb went in public health. So they went in two different budgets and two different entities, but the same trip.
Okay, so I assumed that it was clarified that it was all going to come out of FEP because FEP had extra money. That's what I assumed Leanne was saying. That FEP would come, whether FEP was health or not.
Go ahead, Jackie.
She worked here yesterday and she said she didn't even have the invoices prepared yet. So I guess until the invoices are prepared and submitted, we don't know where they're coming out of. And I was thinking she was going to be on here today to clarify that, so.
Well, I was just lost and I was trying to get clarification of what was paying and where it come from. So I guess, yeah, we'll just move on, and when we get the stuff, we can go over it and understand.
Perfect.
Is that all right with you guys?
Either way, both budgets in the travel line item, there's plenty of funds to cover this travel.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you. Okay, we're going on to NRCS grant updates discussion. We had that in the correspondence, so we talked about it already a little bit, and I totally agree with you guys. It's not really we don't have the leg to stand on here. I mean, we can comment and send a letter, but until, I mean, it's all over the state. It's not just in Granite County, it's everywhere. And I totally agree that a lot of these people are buying these places and then they get paid to clear their places when they know when they bought it that we probably shouldn't, but go ahead.
So if you look at it in a neutral position, you could say to homeowners, it's in that grant where they can have it. And if the NRCS says yes, it's yes, and it would be the same way for the ranchers and the farmers. I mean, if it's in that actual grant that they can apply for it or put and get it, there isn't anything we can say about it. It's federal. Is that what I'm?
You're not gonna be able to stop it, is what you're saying.
Is there any public comment on this? We'll go off for 15 minutes. All right, we're back on with the ongoing negotiations with Flint Creek Hydro. Judge McLean, obtaining expert witness. Have anything come up, Blaine, on that?
So, the one expert referral referred me to another person, and they never got back to me. So I've gone back to John Fitzpatrick to have him try to get us a new referral so we can start with square one. So
I just want
back to square one, but hopefully they have someone else.
Well, I just want to note that we are moving ahead and trying to fix this where, you know, even with Flint Creek and that, they could help out. Hydro could say, oh, we know this guy or something, you know, maybe, because we're trying to make this work.
Well, this would be someone adversarial to them, but, you know, but someone that's, I don't know what someone's honest opinion on those fees, the increased fees.
Oh, thanks. Any public comment on this? We'll just keep moving ahead on this, Blaine, and I mean, and each time we have it on record, it's.
We're kind of, what, between a rock and a hard spot.
Mhm.
Can't do anything. We're trying and we're not getting response from anyone.
So we've got to, I think, pursue the expert, and I'll keep working on it hard here.
There's got to be an expert out there that will help
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, we've got to.
Are you an expert? No.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be free. They're
Yeah,
gonna
right.
spend it. It's gonna be expensive.
Any public comment on this? If not, we're gonna go off for a few minutes. Go ahead, Elena.
Okay, can, point of clarification, please. What kind of expert are we looking for?
An expert in maintenance costs of dams and basically has knowledge of like history of those maintenance costs and how that they've gone up for a lot of dam owners of projects. And so somewhat of the quality of a professor or engineer.
Does that clarify it for you?
So in essence, it's a hydroelectric dam that we need somebody to get us information. And FERC can't provide for one either?
No, the county needs an advocate who's gonna be an independent.
So what we're trying to do, Elena, is we're trying to get the hydroelectric company to help us with our expenditures. And in our contract, they don't have to. We're trying to find an expert to say, these are extenuating circumstances and they should be responsible for some of this expenses that cost us. That's what we're trying to do, is so that the tax, or it's not the taxpayer, they don't pay taxes. It's so that that we don't have to pay all the expenses when they should be responsible for some of the expenditures. That's what we're trying to do.
It goes to foreseeability. When the contract was originally negotiated, were these expenses, increased expense revenue, or were they foreseeable? And that you need an expert to, if you're gonna have any argument, make that argument, you gotta have someone to back you up.
Thank you.
And Chuck, didn't you say that there's kind of a little loophole in that contract where it says unforeseeable costs?
Well,
There'd be something that the county could do about it.
and that's the default law as well.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do.
Thanks for explaining that. Any other comments on this? All right, we're gonna go off to the next one. All right, we're back on, and it's for the Bouquet versus Granite County discussion. I think Carol Lynn Bouquet's on. Do you want me to let her go ahead and?
Let me, I was gonna
Okay.
give you a little update on what's going on.
Okay.
They filed a first amendment complaint to clarify Browns Gulch access road versus Browns Gulch, because there's, Browns Gulch isn't that road, isn't that in dispute. I signed an acknowledgement on Friday of service, otherwise we'd have to pay for the service process. So we have 21 days from last Friday to file an answer, and so I'll get that answer filed. There's no insurance defense, so I'll be the main one, and I'll be filing the answer in court.
Good job. Do you have a comment on that, Carol?
No, sir, I wasn't quite sure what all Blaine or Mr. Bradshaw, sorry, had said. I couldn't hear it all.
Just a second, he's coming up and he'll tell you again.
Okay, thank you. Jim's on also.
I just said that Mr. Jones had filed the first amended civil complaint, which clarified Browns Gulch access road versus Browns Gulch road. Because my understanding, there's no dispute over Browns Gulch road, just the access road, and that I signed an acknowledgement of service on Friday, and so the answer will be due within 21 days of last Friday.
Did you get all that?
Yes, sir, thank you.
So when the county's answered, Blaine, is that something that you'll have on the agenda, or is that just something that you file and
I'll file it, but yeah, if you want to do periodic updates every.
so is this something where we get our expert witnesses versus their expert witnesses? And
So in the Mr. Combrick's case, the county had retained Barney Hallen, a surveyor, just because, again, the independent, he's very good. So yeah, down the line, I encourage the commission to look at retaining him as well. You could do an agenda item for that.
And he's the gentleman that I went with.
Yeah, he helped us with the Combrick case.
What was his name again, please?
Is it all right?
we haven't hired.
Witness, what did he say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Just a second. Okay.
So it's his name's Barney Hallen.
Halland, Hallond?
No, Hallin.
We did not hire him or nothing. We're
Yeah, I
not,
haven't hired him yet.
we just
We
said
haven't
that
hired him.
we did not hire.
Oh, okay.
But there'll be an agenda item on that. It could be whenever you'd like, the next couple of weeks, you have an agenda item on that.
Any
Right,
other
thank-
comment?
Okay, so I just want one question on this. This is their amended summons, and then we send them a letter within, what, 21 days,
Well,
giving our reasons why we think it's a county road? Is that?
Well, the answer paragraph by paragraph answers everything in there,
Okay.
so we don't have to give proof. It's just paragraph by paragraph,
Paragraph by
affirm or
paragraph.
deny each paragraph.
Okay.
Do you have any other public comment on this, Carol?
No, sir. My husband Jim's also on. He's
Oh, I
at
didn't.
Arnold. Did you see him there?
No. Did he say something? I don't
He's in
see
the
his hand.
shadow. He's shadow. He's the shadow.
Oh,
Oh.
I didn't. Did his hand come up?
No, but I just sent him a request.
Oh.
Okay, now. I don't know if he,
There he is.
Am I on now?
yeah, there he is. Yes, you're on, hon.
We just can't
All right.
see you.
Yeah, well, sorry. It's dark here today. But the only comment I have is, I thought I heard somebody say that that this Barney Howland guy is the guy that he went with the other day. Was that a visit to the site, or was that for
No.
something different?
No, this is something different. I just was making sure I had the right guy. That was me.
Mr. Howland
Okay.
the county is an expert in a separate case.
We did not
Okay,
hire.
I just wondered.
Nope,
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't have any other comment.
Is there any other comments on this? Public comments? Being none, we'll go off till the next agenda item. I think we're about there. Oh, we're there. Never mind, Billy. It's 11. I forget that little clock's down there. All right, so we're on for the Granite County Medical. Maria, you're up. Good morning.
Good morning. Will you be able to hear me from here?
You can scoot up if you
Yeah, I
want.
would
the mic a
scoot over
little
by
better.
Scott a little bit. You're having issues with our mic.
There we go. Move my junk out of the way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have an extra.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good morning. As you can see, I gave you each a handout that includes the financial report. And our projected cash available is approximately 377,000. And projected deposits through the 15th of this month should be about an additional 326,000, with about 150,000 going out in accounts payable. That's outside of payroll,
So,
which.
Can I ask a question? When you say projected cash available, so if it's showing the 377, if it's available, you can use it in different stuff. Is that what you're saying?
That's approximately how much is in the bank account.
Okay. All right.
Remember, that's fluid, it's constantly moving in and out. As bills are paid, as payroll comes in, and
Okay.
as more money's
And
coming.
that's what this all here is.
Yeah.
All right. I
As of
just,
4/26.
okay.
Projected cash reserves are about 553,000 around the. And that's a projection. If you look under the administrator's report on page 2, we talk about the COVID status in the county. We currently do have the Moderna adult vaccines back in stock in our Phillipsburg clinic, and those are available for people to make an appointment and get a booster, or if they've never had a first dose, they can get a booster for a first dose. The variant that's being looked at right now is the BA.2, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on April 23rd identified that this variant is the dominant variant. However, it is quickly being overtaken across the United States by another fast-growing Omicron offshoot called the BA.2.12.1. And this newest variant, as of April 23rd, was accounting for 19% of all new cases. So it's that Omicron variant is continuing to change and mutate. So under therapeutics, the Sotrovimab that we currently had on hand as a therapeutic intravenous infusion to treat this, it's no longer found to be effective against the BA.2 subvariant, so it's no longer authorized in the United States. So that one's been held. So the only treatments available right now are the Paxlovid and the Molnupiravir, and those are available by prescription. Those are oral antivirals. And Remdesivir is available IV. It's another antiviral, and it's available only to hospitalized patients under close observation and monitoring. So we don't have that on hand, the Remdesivir, because we don't normally keep COVID positive patients, because we also have our long-term care patients in the same environment. As of this morning, Granite County does not have any active cases. We had one last week when it was the board meeting day, but today we are still at 0. So we see that cases are going up, but hospitalizations are going down. So right now, the variants are not as severe as previous ones. Our county vaccination rate did go up by 1%, so we're at 40% now fully vaccinated, where Montana is at 55% fully vaccinated. Our activities department is starting to get excited for warmer spring weather, and they're going to be planning some outings soon. Under the business department revenue cycle team, we did finally just receive our cost report payable of $221,586. And CMS came in and also recalculated our daily rates.
Who's CMS? Are they
Centers-
the ones that did this daily rate study then? or-
Yep, that's the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. And I apologize for abbreviating.
No, I'm just, now who's RHC?
Rural Health Clinic. The outpatient
Get on your
clinic.
acronyms.
I just
It's like
won't
word
be out
salad now.
right.
Everything has an abbreviation.
I just found out what LOL was. So be nice to me.
So the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services did their review and they recalculated our daily rates. So our hospital daily rate went from 6,900 to 7,800. The swing bed rate went from 5,800 to 6,900, and the rural health clinic rate remained unchanged. Now, this is what Medicare and Medicaid use to calculate our cost of delivering care. So they it's kind of like doing your taxes. They estimate based on an average of this many patients, your cost to deliver care to them is this much per day. So in 6 months, they do an interim rate review and they see where did we fall? Was our utilization higher than they anticipated? So then we owe them money, or was it less than what they anticipated and they owe us more? Or were we pretty much on target? And they
Hopefully
do that,
on target. right?
hopefully on target. When they make a jump, we get very nervous because if our utilization, because you're striving to get greater utilization, and if you don't balance that out according to their calculation, then you wind up owing money. So it's a thin line. Okay. Human resources, we are still looking for a director of nursing so that I can split my current position and concentrate on more strategic projects. We did have 2 candidates that we interviewed over the past month. One was a really wonderful candidate, however, she declined. We are still looking for 2 night shift charge nurses and a CT tech. We did make an offer to someone in Alaska, but after about 2 weeks, they had decided that it wasn't a good fit. They weren't ready to move. So we do have another candidate that's in the queue, and hopefully that one will come to fruition. We do still need a part-time housekeeper and an on-call maintenance person, but we did hire a new dietary manager. So we do still have 2 open cook positions if anyone knows anyone who's interested in being a cook. Our rates did go, our hourly rates did go up, so.
Not much.
So we are more competitive. We're
Not
definitely,
much.
right now it's at 15 at the start. Under IT, our IT department has been working really hard to implement additional security measures. And what they've done is they've blocked all of our networks internet access by geographic area. No longer does anyone have any remote access from home. No one can access their emails. It's making it very challenging to work after hours, but in the current environment, it's important. Maintenance, we are looking to replace our walk-in refrigerator freezer. And we're collecting bids, but right now the estimate is at about $48,000.
They can't just, did the cooler go out? Is they just trying to replace it, or are you trying to build a whole new one?
What we would like, my first thought is to replace the current one, take it out, put a new one in, because it's very old and it fails every other week.
Okay. I just
But
curious.
their idea was, let's build one outside and make the entryway through the back door and then connect it.
That's what the school has, and you're mailing the cooler outside. I
Right.
think they're cheaper. way.
They're telling me that this case, it's probably about the same 48,000. It's a refrigerator freezer. But I guess it really, it's that much. The benefit of putting the one outside is that you don't have downtime. You can keep this one running
Till you get the other
until you
one.
get the other one, then you just shift. This way, we would have at least 2 weeks downtime, and we'd be running on Yeti coolers, which is not optimal.
And like that, it'll just be walk out the door one. You're not cutting a whole new door system, are you?
No.
Okay.
No, we tend to try not to do that. We did do 16 CTs in March. We were really excited about that. It's been challenging to keep the department staffed. We only have one person, so he's been working 3 weeks straight, and then takes a little bit of time off. We're almost done with our remodel of the room for the new X-ray. The X-ray is operational in the new room, but there are still a few final touches, molding and trim and things like that they need to finish up in there. Under the financials that were reviewed at the board meeting, on utilization, it was a little bit low in March. It was 7 out of our 12 areas on track. Phillipsburg was a little slower in March, but Drummond was a little busier, so they balanced out. Our hospital visits were 3 versus our target of 8. Swing beds were down by 3, and ERs were 23, and our target is normally 30. On the revenue analysis on the following page, the revenue in March, you can see, was about 100,000 below target, but up from the prior month significantly. So this does include 15,000 in incentive income that we did receive. So the 340,000 is 51% higher than last month, because January, February, March tend to be low collection months. Everyone kind of hunkers down with their new deductible cycles. But we are still 2.2% above target in our year to date. On the balance sheet, we did at this particular moment in time have 900,000 in unrestricted cash because the cost report had come in just before this information was pulled. Accounts receivable is down around 7% from prior month, and our grants receivable, that's gone up in March. The vaccine confidence grant that we had been issued is fully spent, and we'll get a drawdown on that of about $99,000. On the profit loss versus the budget and prior year month to date, March revenue was down, like I said, below budget, but we are still 2% over budget. Expenses for March were over budget by about 14%, and year to date it's about 8% over budget. And that's because we keep bringing in a lot of extra supplies that we're using grant money, COVID relief funds and grant money to cover. There was an increase in traveler costs, and
Is the COVID money in a different setting then? Do you keep that in a different, it don't show on the financial?
some of them are
right?
drawdowns where you have to spend the money first and then you get reimbursed, and some are sitting in restricted. So once those are accounted for and receipted, then the money shifted out of the restricted. We watch those really carefully because you can only spend certain grants and certain relief funds on certain things.
Yeah,
So we have to have our.
I was just curious on that cooler, if there was that
Oh, I
something,
wish.
but there's
No,
not.
no, darn it. Yeah, if
I'm
only.
just curious.
Yeah, it's a good question, and if there was a way that that would be appropriate for those funds. Yeah, they give us a nice little description of what you're allowed to use it for. So,
Okay.
we're fortunate they provide that. Any questions?
I'm not being rude, I'm turning down my hair and it all of a sudden it took off. So I didn't want you to think I was on my phone. Sorry.
You've got important things going on.
Yeah, it was all of a sudden taken off and I was like, holy shit.
Any questions for me for anything? Does the audience have any questions?
Is there any public comment on this? Being none, thank you, Maria, for the
All
update.
right. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank
Feel
you,
free to
Maria.
email me with anything.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now we got 5 minutes. So like on that, can we go on? I just want to ask you. Okay, we're back on for the request for reimbursement. Why is this in yellow?
Guys, I had to do an amended agenda because I posted it and then I was flipping through my email and I was like,
Oh,
crap, I forgot to put that on there.
okay.
And you have the one that you could just sign.
Current invoice amount is 9,600. So this is that KLG Engineering
Yeah, for the Ready Field project.
KLJ.
or yeah,
Yeah.
J. So do we need a motion on this? I entertain a motion on the outlay report and request for reimbursement for construction program.
I make a motion that we pay the 9,600 requested for reimbursement from the outlay report. And then I guess this is a balance of 22,350 is still what we have to request being paid back to us. Are we going to try to get that done within the fiscal year? Or?
I think we need to, so we're clean slate.
I think they were hoping to have it done this spring.
Be nice to have a clean slate, then go into another
So
year. and-
22,350 is left to ask, receive from, for the grant, and then we're done. Is that correct?
Do you want me to talk to them and see
Yeah.
if they get it done? We'll talk to Ernie.
I agree. Do I
Then
have a,
what
s-
happens?
do I have a second? I second it. All in fa- Oh, Chuck seconded. All in favor, or is there any public comment on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion been carried and passed.
But if they aren't able to use it all, then it could be, you could budget again for
Next year.
next year, but that's, hopefully this is, the bank's plan is to use it.
Well, last week he said the plan would be done in 4 months.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. I entertain a motion that we're done for the day.
I'll make that. I'll make that.
I second it.
You go ahead and entertain it. I'll second it.
All in